Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for another Age of Empires 3 series for you today. This is the EPL number 2, week number 5. We finally got to the 5th week of this tournament, and this is the match between the Hudson Bay Bigs and the Nilla Ninjas. We have empireboss spawning into the southwestern map, playing as the British in the colour red. This is a Brit Mirror open pick for game number 1, and his opponents, also playing the British in the blue colour, is Hatamoto Samurai, also known as Archer. I am joined on the co-casting mic today by Zeke. Welcome, Zeke. How you doing?
Hi, I'm doing pretty good. How are you, man?
Yeah, not too bad. Getting the stream going,
nice.
and we've only got one more week of the round robin series before we reach the playoffs, and a lot is on the line.
We're going to the end, like the final week, trying to get to the playoff.
Yeah, I think the Nilla Ninjas, it may be a bit of a tough ask them get to the finals, but the Hudson Bay Bigs, if they have a screamer of a week, then they could have a chance to sneak it into that playoff position. So also fight off in this 5th week, and the first player for up on the Hudson Bay Bigs roster this week, playing the red colour today, is empireboss, and he's making his EPL 2 debut this week, so being thrown straight into the deep end against a stronger opponent.
Yeah. Both players are pretty decent, quite strong. So, let's see. Oh, it's a nice treasure for Hacha, like the 95 wood. Should be for another mana, yeah. Both players. It's a market start for Empire Boy.
We see that both explorers are nearby, and empireboss just picked up 45 coin, but he's going to walk over to see a random British explorer getting taken down, double teamed by these 2 snow leopards. Crackshot available, but this explorer's on dangerously low HP, only 48 HP remaining.
Oh, so close!
He does pick up the treasure, yes, but empireboss there does pick up the kill and the 45 XP, which, okay, Archer does now have 75 food to his name, and that's a decent treasure to pick up, but empireboss has the remainder of the map and has the total dominant control over the remaining treasures.
It's pretty, should be able to pick up more treasure for Empire Boys. Let's see what's else, like the macaque? Monkey?
Yeah, there's one of the recent changes to this map was that any macaque treasures are now guarded by 2 snow monkeys, which the snow monkeys themselves aren't actually that hard to take down, and with 8 XP each, that's just, you could even argue it's a slight buff to the treasure, but
kind of.
We see that it was not enough for empireboss to pick up this treasure, and he's working on his way across the map and seeing other treasures. Now come across 80 food down to the south, and will start this treasure.
Will he get it in time? Probably not, actually.
So he's walking back now, getting another shot off, looking to start creeping his treasure, and you know he can creep this treasure now because the other explorer from his opponent is taking a snooze on the top side of the map. There's no way he's going to get up and revive, and empireboss has all the time in the world to try and take this treasure without losing as much HP as possible, and so another 80 food easily picked up here for empireboss.
Pretty nice. Like, can save some time, like not getting the hunt. Queue up the first fill. Oh, a forward villager by Hacha. So pretty. Maybe he will put down a forward base and with his tower. Let's see. Yeah, both players age up with the governor.
Well, yes, I would expect both players to age up with the governor's matchup. That's a standard build order. It looks like that Archer has aged up 1 vil earlier than empireboss due to the extra food treasure he got early on. And, okay, Archer is dropping down a manor house, but I'm taking off the fog wall. There's no hunts nearby. This is going to be a forward base location for Archer. You could push out for hunts here, but he's just going for the mid-map control and wants to kind of try and take map control away from his opponents.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, you can try to lock down the future hunts and also the mine. Like, there's a lot of mine in the corner. I mean, if you can trying to pressure with a few muskets, could be annoying.
Yeah, so Empire Boss now snaring his outpost wagon. This outpost wagon wants to try and push up the map, but I think he's going to drop it down very nearby his barracks. If he
Is there
takes it
enough
too
space?
far away from his barracks, he's going to be a bit exposed from the other player, Empire Boss, who's throwing down a barracks and his outpost, and we have two barracks and two outposts on the same screen.
Yeah, pretty classic, like aggressive, like outpost. Yeah, he did find enough space for his outpost. The treasure kind of blocked it, but yeah, still enough.
Well, the thing I was getting a bit worried then for Harcher was like you can't build this outpost on the trade routes or the ice, so there's only a limited place he could really build it.
Yeah.
And that explorer, he was snaring the outpost wagon, but he could have used a bit of 200 IQ play and tried to actually block the foundation.
Oh yeah, exactly. Maybe he was too busy trying to like do other micro stuff. Oh, he could actually snare the explorer from Emperor Boss and trying to kill him with the outpost. But like both, oh, it's a longbow start.
Yeah,
Huh.
5 longbow up from Hatamoto Samurai, and probably easy to get the longbow out there and then because of his 700 wood shipment and chopping wood during transition. It looks like he hasn't mined any coin yet, now sending 5 villagers onto the coin and looking to start musketeer production after his opening of longbows.
Probably, and another second racks like near the base. Maybe just not enough space for other places. Well, I respect it. Let's see, unit in queue. Should be, yeah, both have musket in queue.
So Harcher now popping out 5 musketeers, 5 longbows. This early mass of units from Hatamoto Samurai should surely have the advantage, but it looks like these longbows can't actually start firing on the musketeers because they can't really kite as we know it, and they really need these musketeers out front to cover them.
Yeah, he's probably waiting for his 5 musk to like trying to reinforce. Oh, trying to kill the explorer. Okay.
So if you was in Empire's boss position right now, what would you be follow up after sending your 5 vil? Do you think you'd want to be going for 600 wood and try and throw down more manas? Maybe go for 700 coin, stable switch, or maybe triple musks here? What do you reckon?
Triple musketeer. That should be another with a Swiss play. But I expect a 600 wood based on his micro. And a harass from the explorer. Oh, yeah, gonna be pushed out by the musketeer. Should doing some decent herding here.
Yeah, but notice how that explorer's gone down and has allowed Hatamoto Samurai to push in with his infantry mass only briefly. He's realised he's got a little bit of a window and can try and siege down a manor house, giving himself 81 experience. But watch out though, 7 musketeer raids going topside.
Yep. Would kill at least 1 vil, probably 2, and no grid codes.
you know me and my greatcoats, and looks like for Hatamoto Samurai, he does have the market down, so he could get the greatcoats. But I feel that those villagers, they were busy gathering and did not notice that raid in time. I think they would have been dead anyway.
Could maybe save one. One probably. Oh, he might catch those muskets, and empireboss is not reacting.
Yeah, certainly. And look at this pickup, though. Hatamoto knew where those musketeers was due to those dead vills, the line of sight, the manor house, and he just moved across his longbows and musketeers. Longbows having a really nice range, able to pick off 6 musketeers there. And for the time being, I would take that trade there for Hatamoto.
Sure, yeah, it's a pretty decent like trade to villager for 6 musket. It's equal to a unit shipment. He can even like push with like a shipment for 6 musk, I would guess, but maybe not. Let's see.
Quick look at Empire Boss's deck. Very standard deck here. Both musk cards and the standard longbow musketeer upgrades here. Looks like both players are kind of postulating around their musketeer-based armies, but these extra longbows could be quite nice actually in this mix from Hatamoto Samurai. But
get a few longbow, pretty good. Free a shot engaged. Oh, a little bit lag. Hope it's getting a little bit more. First Musk upgrade from Hacha, from both player actually.
Yeah, so we have a mirror build, and I think the Brit
Yeah.
Mirror is one of those matchups where the kind of the meta, the build order has been figured out, and mass in eco, which helps you pump out your military units mid game. Now it's sending upgrade cards and
Mhm.
having engagement, but same number of musketeers, both sides really. This is going to be in close.
Yeah, pretty close. For a batch of 4 Hus can tank a few damage, and Archer do have more mana mana build. Probably because like empireboss have to build a stable to have those Hus, but they do tank a few damage, so it's a little bit favor for Hacha, but still overall it's kind of even.
Well, considering that Empire Boss threw down a stable and pumped out 4 Hussars, I was hoping that the Hussars would have done a little bit more in that engagement there, but actually,
Yeah.
due to these upgrade Musketeers, they went down really, really quickly, and now that Hatamoto Samurai has the larger Musketeer mass, a reinforcing batch of Empire levels it off there, but I thought that was a good trade there for Hatamoto Samurai.
Yeah, but like I believe empireboss could get out more unit. I mean more eco, but maybe he need to defend his racks first. So probably not building more mana at this point.
Well, both players are just on food and coin at the moment. They have set their foundations. They're not going to get any more mana pops at this moment. Both players on food and coin. Double Musk upgrade comes in now, and it's just going to be standard trade-off in the middle of the map here between his two muskets. Really nice line here from Empire Boss, getting a good coverage fire from his musketeer ranks.
Now with the reinforcement, so it's pretty close again. Actually, Hachar do has more musket. Okay, with new batch. Okay, yep. It's quite like when you get another new batch, you will have the lead, and with like another batch reinforcement, just like even again.
Yeah. I think Hatamoto Samurai has missed a few villagers from the town centre. He's currently down 3 villager pop. He did lose 2 vills to that raid to the north side, remember, but he has more manor houses as well, so he may have missed a bit of training just to try and get that early military advantage, and the longer this game goes on, Empire Boss will slowly outmass Hatamoto Samurai, but at the moment though, Archer has the military advantage.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, both sending 6 Lambo. That's a pretty pretty mirror.
Yeah, I'm surprised both players here not sending 6 musketeers because 6 musketeers is slightly
Double
worse
target.
value than longbows, but they are double upgraded at this point, and at this late stage of the game, like Empire Boss he's got quite a bit of a longbow mass going on at the moment, but these guys, well, they don't really stand up to musketeers in combat. They need to be out of the range for the musketeers to be really effective, so I'm surprised both players mixing in longbows at this stage.
Yeah, it's a little bit. Well, maybe you could cover those lumber with your double carded mask and trying to get enough damage with those lumber. And some raiding coming out, trying to pressure the mine, but no bell here. Probably need to pressure hunt for Brits.
Well, yeah, well, there's hunts either side of the base, so it's kind of basically flipping a coin to see if you're going to get a good raid with these 5 muskets north side. Empire Boss, though, position his army down to the south, and Hatamoto Samurai knows this, and usually you want to cover your economy with the military, and that's what Empire Boss has done so far. So that 5 musketeer raid at top size, not going to get too much now, but does find the second queen mine from Empire Boss, and a slow reaction here.
And do push out him from the quine mine, so probably will slow down the production. However, the engagement starts in the middle. The military unit, it's still. Whoa! Archer do have a lot of muskets, and Empire Boss has more lumbo.
Yeah,
Let's
but
see how
these longbows though, they're not doing anything at the moment. They're just taking population. It's the musketeer mass, and Hatamoto Samurai still has another 10 musketeers. Quite a few of these musketeers were raiding, forced Minutemen batch, but he's winning this fight in the middle, and a 6 musketeer reinforcement here. Surely he's going to turn the fight in his favour.
Yeah, pretty. When musket come getting to the range of longbow, they will definitely like dominate those. And Hotshot can also push the Hunt. Well, he is doing so.
Isn't it strange that after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards, we have the exact same cards mirrored order from both players. Both players having the same strat. Slightly different unit compositions in terms of how many units they've made from their barracks, let's say.
Yes.
But the card order, though, is being exactly equal. And going to units in queue now, I'm seeing both players making more musketeers.
Actually, I would prefer like advanced arsenal if both any other player has it in deck. I guess not.
Yeah,
Could
no.
even furthermore buff your muskets.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one, but I have tried it before in a Brit Mirror, and the problem is that you then have to kind of stop gathering food, going to wood to try and get the resources to get the arsenal up, and then get your flintlock and paper cartridge. But in the meantime, your opponent just makes more musketeers and outmasses you, so it's a really good idea in paper, and maybe it's an upgrade Carver both players could have instead of, let's say, Cav attack in the second age, but I don't feel that both players really have the eco to sustain that kind of switch at this point.
That's the point. And player are like extend to the outside of the base, like both not safe hunts. Could possibly put a few villager on the wood and trying to get out more mana, even for line of sight.
We currently have Hatamoto Samurai just sat on Empire Boss's barracks. There's no way these musketeers getting produced can go out on the map and join their army, and any units being made are just getting cut down straight away, and even more musketeers reinforcing to just pick up these reinforcements. And it's been very tough for Empire to come back from this, and it does actually call the GG at that point.
Yeah, when British you don't have the hunts for a mobile musketeer, that's pretty much over actually. Like, how could you mask more to like trying to come back?
Yeah, and that's why this map control play here from Hatamoto Samurai is just so important. This middle outpost it kind of gives the blue player here that springboard to push either direction of the map, while Empire Boss is kind of confined to maybe a quarter circle with you can't really push through the middle outpost, but you can kind of walk around to the hunts down in like the southeast. But Hatamoto Samurai pushed his military initially, went down to the south, tried to push a bit of the eco, and then went back to the barracks later on when he had that military mass and just outmassed and just killed any more reinforcements and slowly won the battle of attrition at that point.
Yeah, like just push out from the hunts from the resource, and you can mass more with your resource being safe. Like, yeah, one way to come back maybe like doing like masquerade and trying to gather at the same time, but like it's pretty hard to do that.
Did you just say it's pretty hardship to do that? nice
yeah,
one.
Maybe.
Yeah. Well, actually, looking at the villager count as well, we do see that Empire Boss did lose about a 2 vil raid due to the musketeers, and then later on lost about maybe 5 vils as well. So Hatamoto Samurai with his military advantage went raiding while that big fight engaged, and there was a point where Hatamoto Samurai has 20 more musketeers than his opponent, but that middle fight it kind of was prolonged because they weren't all fighting together. But if they weren't fighting, he made the most of them, picking up villager kills in Empire's eco.
Yeah, like when you have like the map control, so like the opponent cannot get those like hunt, so like you will gradually get more units and out their eco. Yeah, but actually eco is pretty close, so I guess like Hatra also has some more working time. Like you need to walk to the another hunt.
It's quite hard to say. I think both players there had their steel traps, placer mines, and similar vil counts, so it won't be the economy difference won't be too big. And actually, the thing is, when you get to that late point of the game, the economy says, "Oh yes, this person's gathered, let's say, 10,000 resources," but you've already spent those resources in your villages, your buildings, your military units which have already died, and military units out in the field. And it just always was once Archer got that lead, he managed just to keep that lead and press his advantage where he had to, and just to make the most of that then for game one.
Yep, that's pretty much all. Maybe another like Lumbo overrated.
Yeah, it was interesting to see both players opening up longbows in that game, or Archer opening up with 5 longbows, then having that 6 longbow timing as well in the middle. Both
Yep.
players adopted that as well. But you can see after those longbows went down, it was just reinforcing more musketeers. So the longbows had a nice little window to do some damage, but both players in favour of the musketeers. That stable from Empire Boss made 4 hussars, and those hussars really didn't achieve much. And you could even argue that was a waste
Yeah,
of
maybe
resources.
try to raid with those. Should be pretty much good.
Yeah, could have actually. That's a good point. Like, if you're, why charge hussars into musketeer heavy competitions when you've got
Yeah.
fast mobile units which can raid British player out on the map? And now that you said that, that could be a decent play from Empire Boss, because he had the defender's advantage. He could have even called
Yeah.
Minutemen if he was feeling really pressured as well. So he could have made musketeers, called Minutemen, and then sent those 4 hussars out to raid. And we did see towards the end, Hatamoto Samurai was moving out to the top side of the map and slightly down to the southeast. But it wasn't fully across the map at that point.
Yeah, so yeah, that's pretty much like about the Brit mirror. And now Hacha is picking friends. Yeah, it's Nino Ninja picking first. And the map is all good. Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, we're on Kamchatka Summer, so a very standard map here. And Archer here going for the French pick. A very safe pick on a map like Kamchatka. And did you say that you was a bit of a French player yourself?
Yeah, I do play a bit French. It's a pretty standard civ, and I believe it can higher your level. I'm not sure.
No, I think you're thinking of civs called Ottoman and Japan if you want to raise your PR level.
I mean your real skill level.
Empire Boss here, going for the French mirror. So mirror for game 1. Don't often see mirrors in game number 2 because of the counter pick, but Empire Boss must have a strategy ready, because going for a French mirror when you could play other civs, possibly like China, possibly Japan, maybe Brits here.
Yeah, Japan is pretty decent.
Obviously, you just played the British. Germany could be a good matchup here as well.
True. I would prefer France on this map actually. German do not have those additional scout unit, so cannot get those gold. Hope or ESOC, yeah.
Yeah, so Archer has asked me to entertain, and he's asked me to tell you about my last run. Actually, the last run I did today was I actually went for a run today, quite a short run, only about 3 kilometers, about 5 minute 10 second pace per kilometer, just to get out and about and move my legs. But beforehand, I did go for a very long run, 24 kilometers, just more than half a marathon around the city, because it was a sunny day and I had nothing else to do.
Well, that's pretty good. You can go out having a run, just enjoy your day.
Do you live in Hong Kong?
Not really. I'm in US, so I'm not able to go out actually.
My mind is blown. I thought you was with Hulong out in the in Hong Kong. Obviously, you are Chinese. It doesn't mean you have to live in China, but I guess if it's in the US, then you can go out as well. So have you been doing much exercise during the Corona times?
Yeah, this is quarantine time, and I'm worried our state is not the best. I mean, for the deaths and those stats. So basically, I would stay in the dorm. But yeah, I do enjoy to go out if I can.
Meanwhile, in England, England specifically, because we have the government, which is the government of the United Kingdom. However, a few matters gets passed on to the devolved governments in Wales, Northern Ireland, and Scotland. And Boris has come up with a new message: "Stay alert," which kind of means stay at home. But all the other countries are like, "Nah, we're going to stay at home, thank you." So Boris is trying to slowly bring us out of lockdown into more of a stable state. And the reason really being was that actually, when Boris said stay at home, the entire country was like, nice, get to stay at home, have holiday at home, and the entire country just did absolutely nothing. Ground to a halt, and Boris was like, oh, hang on a minute, my country's eco is plummeting. This is bad news. We need to do something to get back out in the open.
Yeah, things change when this depending on the time. a few days of like a short holiday should be pretty nice. But like if you like stay at home like for like half a year, that's pretty much too much.
Well, it's a bit weird because you can kind of just drift into a new kind of lifestyle and you just kind of get used to it. I'm itching to kind of get back on my feet once everything's sorted out, but for the meantime though, I'm basically staying at home most days, and that means I get to play more Age of Empires and cast for you guys,
Yeah,
which
that's pretty good for the game.
yeah, which is certainly a benefit for you guys here. We are back into game number 2 between Hatamoto Samurai and Empire Boss. The score is currently 1-0 for Hatamoto Samurai after winning the British Mirror on Kamchatka. And now we're going to have a British Mirror on Bering Straits. We're now going to have a French Mirror on Kamchatka Summer. And we have Hatamoto
Another
Samurai
mirror.
spawning to the top left, Empire Boss spawning to the bottom right. So we see Hatamoto Samurai moving out as Explorer towards the middle island. Both players want to kind of usually rush this center area to pick up the goats and treasures.
Yep.
And we do see both players have picked up their in-base macaque, but it's actually Hatamoto Samurai who's actually going to get to the middle island first and should have first dibs on all these goats and picking up two here. So currently at goat advantage of 4-0. It's a really good start here for Hatamoto Samurai.
Yeah, pretty good for Hachar. But meanwhile, Empire Boss do get 40 wood, should speed up his like hunting dog, I would suppose.
Empire Boss going for an interesting scouting pattern here. Native scout near the TC that if there was more vills nearby hunting that could get picked off. Does actually capture one of the goats. Could delete this goat if he was feeling very nasty, but has decided to leave it. Maybe sportsmanship, maybe just too busy macroing, maybe doesn't even realise.
Probably. You could like even take it back. Oh, it's not. It's delayed right now.
Yeah, it looks like Hatamoto Samurai here, herding his 2 starting bighorn sheep, but also herding in these 2 caribou hunts as well, and it feels a little early to be herding so far. He does drop a forward market placement as well, so needs to make sure to get all the techs he needs before that gets taken down.
Well, you won't expect a lot of musk or other pressure from the opponent in a French mirror. So I guess it's fine to get a line sight at this choke, like maybe upcoming raiding. Let's see the fog wall. Basically, Hadamoto Samurai doing a nice scouting, and so does Empire Boss. But he's not scouting his base. I mean, the hunt near his base or any other resource like the mine or the treasure. The middle treasure. Let's take a look at the treasure. So both have a macaque, 40 wood for Empire Boss, and another 40 wood. However, Hadamoto do get 85 wood and 40 wood. So should a little bit better for Hadamoto.
Well, he's paid for that 85 wood with a bit of HP from his Explorer. And you could see that the Explorer Native Scout was chasing Hatamoto away from the middle area. Now that Explorer has left the vicinity of the central portion region, Empire Boss may turn around and try and push for this 80 wood treasure here, guarded by 2 tigers, which is quite easy to take down with his macaque and his Explorer combo.
Should speed up his trading post, and meanwhile Hacha is getting 45 coin. Not the best, but yeah, still it's something. Empire Boss is too busy, maybe trying to get the train pole as soon as possible. So not getting that 80 wood.
Yeah, I suppose both players now age up to the next stage. Training post is usually preferred in transition, and so we do see Empire Boss's Explorer ready to put his training post down. I felt though that he could have taken his 80 wood treasure, could even then thrown the TP down in the middle of the map and get a little bit of map control from that.
And Hachar is getting the Gensol. It's pretty interesting. I didn't actually get it when I was transitioned to the Colonial Age, but rather the Fortress sometimes. So it's kind of interesting. Like, is he able to squeeze it before age up, or
Well, that's the idea of the gang swords. If you have a really good age 1 and you're still going for that 14 vil CDB age up, sometimes you may reach around about 850 to 860 food when you kind of want to click up. So I think maybe Hatamoto may have time to get the gang sword before taking a little bit out of time. It looks like Empire Boss is going to age up slightly before Hardship will, but really insignificant. And that extra wood income could help with the trading post transition, the steel traps, placer mines, and Harcher is already gathering food and coin now, and Empire Boss is slightly later onto the coin himself.
Well, still pretty even for both players. Oh, even the blunderbuss? Ah, that's interesting. It will be hard to hurt if you get this upgrade.
Yeah, no, that's a strong point actually. Blunderbuss will mean that you one shot his Caribou just about, and actually you can see he's cancelled it because he realised he wanted to get the steel traps first. He may have actually was thinking of pressing the Greatcoats button, but accidentally hit Blunderbuss.
That's a good point.
But now is getting for steel traps instead.
Oops, get another gold. Oh, he do eat a few gold, I believe, so that he could squeeze out the Gensel.
Treasure contention in the middle of the map. 80 coin goes to Empire Boss. Hartshow never actually tried to click onto the treasure. Maybe busy going back. But now, like a good lad he is, he's guessing his greatcoats nice and early. Especially, look at this. He's scouted the stable with his native scouts. He knows that there's Hussars soon to be out on the map, and he does have a few villagers far away from the town centre. So that could be a good play to save a few of these CDB's lives.
Sure. And it's a different start for two players. Mascot start for Hatamoto and Hot start for Empire Boss. So a little bit defensive for Hatra here. Yeah, let's see what's gonna happen for this different starts.
Yeah, so how many Musketeers would you make if you was in Hatamoto Samurai's position? We do have 5 Hussars out first batch from the stable, as to be expected, and I don't think 5 Musketeers will be enough to defend this.
Well, 5 Muskets pretty much can evenly trade with those Hussar, and I will keep 1 Musk in queue in case any, like if he can get another batch of Huss, I can pump out more Muskets. Like he do has 6 Musk right now. They will trade even with those Hussar.
Yeah, so Hatamoto had a Musketeer in the queue at the barracks, but didn't cancel it, but also didn't add any more, so now has an awkward number of Musketeers, 6, but does get a very fast age up here. Empire Boss starting to age up behind this, but 5 Hussars actually not achieving too much here, but could be used later to put on some raiding pressure.
Yeah, exactly, and maybe even helping taking some treasure, like this 80 wood. Just put 1 Huss near the 2nd coin mine or 3rd, and should be pretty good to like trying to kill some Bill.
He's going back in for another raid. He's looking at this villager on the coin mine, but Hatamoto already pulling his vills back, and even if they got into combat, they do have their greatcoats on. Another batch of Musketeers comes out from the barracks, and Empire Boss has to back away at this point.
So it's now 11 muskets, so it's a full batch. And yeah, they can pretty much defending all the Huss. However, muskets is kind of useless in the fortress unless he planning to get into the industrial.
Well, look at this from Hatamoto Samurai. He was briefly 47 out of 40 population blocks, so he sends in his shipment. He's training more musketeers, and if you've got a big mass of musketeers here, that does indicate a falconet opening here for Hatamoto Samurai, and he's chosen to skip his wood shipments.
Well, both players actually skip it. Oh, never mind. Empire Boss do get the 700 wood. If he is more greedy, he can even get the 1000 wood. And the falconet is out. Not losing a will. Yep. Not losing. It's pretty much a musket falconet push from the Hatra. How do you think about it?
Well, at the moment, Hatamoto Samurai hasn't got veteran musketeers here, and these units are quite actually weak. These Hussars are not engaging the musketeer math, and why should they? They're back at home raiding, and
Yeah.
it takes time for these Falconets to cross the map, and Empire Boss is just sat at home with Dragoons, making Skirmisher Batch, Dragoon Batch as well, just waiting for Hatamoto to come towards him. And Hatamoto Samurai with no 700 wood shipments, it feels like he's really behind in the housing numbers, the production facilities, and he needs to make something happen with this. And he now has the wood available for Vet Musketeers, and he's just researching that upgrade now.
Should be enough, I will say. He could probably get it when he's actually having a fight, and he will pick up. Maybe protecting Falconing. Yeah, he could pick up this villager or 2 Falc for French. For Empire Boss as well. So let's see.
Empire Boss really needs to unpack his Falconets first, and then go into range. Yeah. It looks like they're in range at the moment, but they're not actually taking it. And it looks like they do take a trade and a double trade here for both players.
Yeah. However, the Goon could help to pick up more Falconets. It's pretty much even.
Yeah, so double down here, the 2 Falconets. The Goons didn't want to overcommit though, because there's no point trading off these expensive units versus these weak Musketeers, but a healthy number of skirmishers behind are just absolutely ripping through this Musketeer line, and that was a really good engagement from Empire Boss. And remember, Hatamoto Samurai never sent the 700 wood here.
Yeah,
he's still only on 1 barracks, now dropping down a second.
A second barracks? Okay. So maybe pumping out more and more skirmisher? Because both players do not have the Falconet right now. Well, it could be good.
Well, I think the plan from Hatamoto Samurai here was to now make skirmishers with the cover of Musketeers to protect any, from that 5 Hussar play, maybe a 3 Cuirassier switch. But now that all those Musketeers going down, just going double skirm with no anti-cavalry protection here feels very risky from Hatamoto Samurai. And Empire Boss, he does have a few Dragoons out as well. He does have a small cav mass behind, but feels that he's far enough ahead now to send 1,000 wood behind this.
Yeah, he could trying to go 5 goons for basic anti-cav, but he still surely need adding stable later on.
We'd have
both from Hacha.
Both players here still. Well, no, Empire Boss doesn't have any more goats remaining, but Hacha still has 5 goats to eat, and these goats still fatten up. But at this point, it's 12 minutes in the game. I feel that a deciding fight's going to happen soon. This will be a great time to eat all these goats, and that is 1,000 food worth of goat just sitting near town centre.
Yeah, both goat has nearly 200 food. Should be good time to eat them. And militarily, it's a little bit favoring Empire Boss, and he do have more skirmish. Let me check real quick. It's pretty much even, and both players actually only have 5 goons. So I would say Hacha is still fine at this time. However, Empire Boss do have 4 Cuirassier in queue with a batch of 3 Cuirassier shipment. It's pretty dangerous for Hacha.
Yeah, and as you called it, 3 Cuirassiers have just been shipped. 5 about to complete. These 3 Cuirassiers, though, going to go straight into the Skirm mass. Pulling the trigger a little bit early here from Empire Boss, trying to rejoin his Skirm army to the north side. But Hatamoto Samurai, with no stable, he's got no real way to defend himself from 8 Cuirassiers, and just a little bit of micro here from Empire Boss to focus down the Dragoons with his skirmishers. And I feel that Empire Boss is in a position to essentially overrun and crush this infantry army here from Hatamoto Samurai.
Yeah. So maybe how it is? He is dropping down a stable, so he probably planning to get more goons, but it's too late. A push will coming soon, very soon.
Yeah, it feels slow, but where these Cuirassiers are, I know they're at the back hiding, but you don't need to hide when you have the advantage. And actually, these skirmishers are so far from any Dragoon or cavalry support that if there was a 3 cav shipment here from Hatamoto Samurai, that could have proved fatal.
Oh, 7 skirm. Okay, that's pretty much I would say dangerous or. Yeah, you have leading skirm order. It's definitely. But if you have 15 goons, that's pretty good. But only 5 is definitely not enough, and he's pushing out Picking some guns pretty nice, but yeah, it's a little bit dangerous. Empire is going for a town center, so maybe Hatcher can trying to catch it in right now, trying to punish for the greedy build, but he don't have enough anti-cap for sure.
No, and like I see Empire Boss is kind of caught between two minds. He's seen this massive skirm mass from Hatamoto Samurai, and he realizes he can't
Yeah.
keep trading with his own skirmisher mass. He just doesn't have the units to trade well versus what Hatamoto does. He has the 7 Cuirassiers to use, but he also doesn't want to really fight at the moment because he's dropped down a second town centre off that 1,000 wood shipment, a little bit delayed.
Exactly.
But like,
it's skirmisher between the punk.
Yeah, but this is a great engagement for Hatamoto Samurai. He's picked off another 5 skirmishers there, and the skirm count is 45 to 26. And at these numbers, and given the time to himself, Hatamoto Samurai, he has enough time to actually mass out even more dragoons. And you don't need cuirassiers if you're ahead in the skirm count. You just need a dragoons mass just to kind of protect yourself from a cav switch.
Oh, tier switch from Hotchar as well. It's pretty interesting. Yeah, he did have the skirm lead, and if he can trying to focus down those goons from the Empire boss, could be a pretty good fight for him.
You see Empire Boss is just trying to lure his opponent out of the town, but like he had the opportunity right there and then to take down the 7 Dragoons and then slam his Cuirassier mass in behind. Cav combat has been shipped behind this, but those Dragoons from Hatamoto Samurai are still on the field, and it feels like this Cav push-in has just come a little bit too late here from Empire Boss.
Yeah, and 3 cures in queue for for Hotchar, and with the Cav combat could be a good fight for Empire Boss. Oh, pulling some Veil, pretty nice, and calling Miniman as well.
Oh, massive batch of Cuirassiers here from Hatamoto Samurai, and still those skirms are alive. Only 5 Cuirassiers here for Empire Boss, but with 4 reinforcing Cuirassiers from Hatamoto Samurai, Minutemen support available, Dragoons out, a few CDBs to tank. This is a really good engagement for Hatamoto Samurai. He's up in military population, and he's just going to crush this fight.
And no anti-cav for Empire Boss now. It's pretty, a huge swing. Probably even ending the game.
Yeah, I think the Empire Boss had that window, and he was just a little bit undecisive what he wants to do with his army. He's now paying the price for it, even trying to pull his skirms away with his scouting cover mode, and just not really enough. And also that scouting stealth mode slowing his skirms down.
The army, actually.
And yeah, the GG comes out, and Hatamoto Samurai is up 2-0 versus Empire Boss. The Knitted Ninjas will be very happy with this matchup here.
Yeah, pretty well played by Hacha. Like, I believe the town center is not working. Like, you just and you're trying to push with the cures and building a town center as well. It's just not the correct play.
Yeah, recalc population 5 villas ahead of Empire Boss, but like, what does this small number of extra villagers, like in terms of percentage wise of that eco population, it's quite insignificant, and then you just lose all that army due to well, I wouldn't go so far as say poor unit control, but he had opportunities to pick off those dragoons when he had opportunities to push in with his cuirassiers onto the skirmishers, and the fact that Empire Boss, well, I don't think. Well, he had some early dragoons, but after that, really never had any dragoons afterwards, and just tried to make more skirms catch up in that skirm count. But if you're behind in skirms versus your opponents on 2 barracks making double skirm, sending 8 skirm, 7 skirm, Empire Boss never even sent 8 skirm, and I feel trying to keep up with the skirm war here cost Empire the game.
Yeah, like the Empire did not have enough cavalry, and he's sending cavalry combat as well as the 1,000 wood. If that would be like 1,000 coin to mass like more cuirassier, and maybe even like jobbing a second stable and then sending cav combat and trying to get a great engagement, that's highly possible. But like his build is like a little bit like indecisive, and that costs him the game.
Yeah. So the 1,000 wood play, it was nice, but the Explorer was already down in the other sides of the map, and Empire chose to revive the hero with his military instead of buying it back. But both ways really kind of cost time and momentum here for Empire. Yeah, it was a little bit slow as well, and just it felt that the economic output from that TC really just didn't push into the advantage that Empire wanted. 3 Cuirassiers afterwards. Cav combat was nice, but only 7. It was only like 7, 8 Cuirassiers benefiting and a very small number of Dragoons. It was not the biggest mass, and maybe 5 Dragoons at that point could have crossed the map quickly and reinforced.
Even shipment could be better than like the Cav combat.
Right, let's hop into game number 3.
Yep. There's lobby. It just came. Okay, yeah, empireboss is trying to picking up a Civ, and yep, he picked Russia. Yeah, he's thinking about the Civ reset and trying to also think about the map pool, I guess. Yep, it's a pretty nice map for Russia. You can like lock down the Euro.
Empire with the I puck Russia and Hatamoto is I pick dis. So both players choosing to not use the actual correct terminology of picking a civ, but I think both players trying to emulate their hero A's, where A's like refers to pikemen as pickies.
Yeah. Pickies. Yeah. So definitely have some like inspiration or some power from their team manager. The great Ace.
So if Hatamoto Samurai here figuratively won 5-0 versus Empire Boss, I'm struggling to actually think which team in the EPL 2 would benefit most behind this. It's quite close. We do have the New World Challengers face off the Mandarin Duck Squad, and both these teams are close to the playoffs, but need to basically beat each other to get to the playoffs. But who knows? We could have a backdoor sneak from the Nila Ninjas.
Yeah, actually, last season, Nila Ninja is not it's been sinking pretty low. However, they do getting into the playoff and actually even winning the game. Winning the EPL, last EPL. So it's still possible, maybe. Let's see.
Yes, and we are back into Game 3 between Hatamoto Samurai and Empire Boss. Hatamoto Samurai playing for the Nila Ninjas, spawning into the west side of the map in the color blue, playing as the Hero. Empire Boss playing as the Russians, spawning to the right hand side of the map. And a very quick look at the map already, and you know what? It looks pretty decent.
Yeah, it's a pretty fair spawn actually. This hunt favor Archer and this one favor Empire Boss. A slightly better hunt for Empire Boss, but still pretty even.
Yeah, so we do see I think it's just a food crate start for both players. Maybe food and wood. Empire Boss playing.
It's a wood start, because Euro don't have one.
Yeah, wood crate start because the Russian player had 2 wood crates, but the Russian player pretty awkward with the wood crate start. They can't reuse that second wood too early. They have to throw down the house straight away to catch that population before the next batch of villagers comes out. And we see Empire Boss moving out across the map and does see a nearly mature bear cub, but he's choosing to abandon that bear cub, that mean person Empire Boss is, and trying to find some other treasures.
Yep, he did scout the native Cherokee. It could be good to pick up it. Trying to do some damage to the Travar.
You'll never pick off this Travar. As in, most players are quite smart. It's like similar to the Japan Cherry Orchard. You'd have it out in the map exploring, but you'll never have it too far so that is at risk of being snared and completely torn down. And if he does get caught, he can just literally build a house there and then. So it's not so much an issue.
Yeah. Oh, I mean the age-up Travar from Euro maybe denying the forward base. Although I'm not sure how this matchup will go.
Well, you know what? I'd actually prefer Empire Boss to pick up that Cherokee Rifleman, not to deny the age up Travar, but just to deny his opponent getting the Cherokee Rifleman, because remember you're playing against a war chief civilization. They can convert one of these outlaw riflemen to their cause. So he's not just picking up the Cherokee Rifleman; he's also picking up the outlaw rifleman, and the pair of those two together, very very strong in early age 1.
Yeah, pretty good point. And let's see. Well, 75 wood is pretty nice as well, so I would respect his decision.
Well, I
And
mean, like you know that treasure's there. He scouts that treasure. He doesn't have to take it straight away, and it's on his side of the map, so he feels
yeah,
relatively safe leaving it. But he's going to move to
yeah.
the south side where the Eero player has already been, and Eero has cherry picked the treasures he likes, and picked up
Hmm.
100 food as well, really early, even before he clicked up to the next stage. So that's a really big treasure at this time of the game.
Yeah, and the hero is not picking up the wood crates and building a trading post in the H1, so it's probably to get a kind of rush and picking up like a treasure, but not in time. Let's see, the wise woman, so it's a slow age. Still, like with this 14 veil age up, it could be pretty fast.
Yeah, it feels like a fast age up here from the Eero player, and getting up before the Russian player is very nice. The Russian player will probably be dropping a mid-map blockhouse, I would
Yeah,
suggest,
probably.
but aging it before the Russian player means that your first H2 shipment will be out before those 5 Cossacks, so you have time to get some units out to defend that early push from Russia.
Yeah. Maybe if he have like correct timing, he can even pop the 4 Kenya before the blockhouse. Doing a market. Okay. So probably he will play the in-base, I mean Rax blockhouse.
Yeah,
Let's see his trading. He do has one hunt, but only one.
I think so too, and I kind of don't like this decision from Empire Boss
Yeah,
because
same for me.
he's now dropping it in base blockouts, which I'm glad it's in base because going from mid map now would be super slow just because you spend all
Yeah,
that woods in the market and you're hunting dogs. He has tried to make the best use of that 75 wood treasure as well. Did ship this distributism upgrade as well as standard,
hmm
but looking to go for the market, get that early steel traps in, maybe go for place of mines as well. And I think from the Russian player, if you're playing it in base, maybe going for a semi-fast fortress strategy yourself.
Whoa, it's possible. Like looks like Hatra is getting the placement mine, so it's highly possible that he will go fortress. Like let's see if he will make a few units or just straight like the crate and 5 We can check the deck real quick. Wow, it's a fast industrial deck to me, actually.
What from Hatamoto Samurai?
Yeah, the natives, the Cree and the Cherokee.
Well, we do have a few strong native upgrades in this kind of slot for other civs. I'm thinking of the 20 or 22 Rattan shields with the elite
Yeah.
status for China, but both of these upgrades here, the 22 Riflemen, 22 Riflemen upgraded as well, and I'm not really too sure how this sits nicely with the Eero competition because Eero they have one of the best.
First power.
Hang on a minute. So they have great skirmishers in the Forest Prowler, but they also have infantry combat, infantry attack, and HP. These cards also buff the native units as well because
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
all infantry. That is really strong.
Yeah. The point is, maybe it's not a fast industrial, but rather a fast fortress. And the 6 skirm is also, I mean, 6 forward power is a little bit unusual. I would probably have like another. He did have all the upgrade, so maybe it's still possible way to use.
So we have
Aside
5 Cossacks, 5 Musketeers marching their way into Hatamoto Samurai's base. Picked up one Vidal Redzi, and it's not like these units weren't scouted up. There was a native scout in the middle of the map, line of sight,
Yeah.
and you do get expect the early 5 Cossacks, and picking up one Vidal early on, that's a good pickup from Empire Boss. You'll be happy with that investment.
It's a pretty nice damage. The 5 Cossacks, at least they pick some Vil, right? And it's still some idle time, so it's pretty nice. And sending 700 wood right now could mass more Cossack and Strelets, or just trying to go Fortress. I'm not a fan of like semi-fast Fortress before Russia.
Yeah, so
Let's see.
I'm not a fan of this from Empire Boss mainly because I don't actually know what his game plan is. He's going for a second defensive in-base blockhouse, sending 700 wood. He's got 10 musks out in the field, or should I say, and now he only has 9 because he lost one in the base. 9 musketeers, 4 Cossacks, but the Eero player with 10 Eero tomahawks probably enough units to actually deal with the Russian army, because remember these are Musketeers from Russia. Quite weak units, actually.
Let's check the stats. Actually, they have similar attacks, so without like any upgrade cards, the Tomahawk do have like really like low range fire, but like they do have a lot of more hit point, so still would favor Hero at this point.
And even that Rifleman just tanking all that fire from Empire Boss, and that's just a free unit as well. So all these little things going in favor of Hatamoto Samurai early age 2. And Hatamoto Samurai behind this, sending the all-resource crate shipments, has lots of food banked up, still trying to gather gold at this point, and after training all these Tomahawks, may have actually needed the 600 coin shipment instead of the 800 all-resources to get a good age-up time in.
Maybe he's playing a little bit more greedier, so like also a little bit miss micro, so it's fine if he can age up like in like 30 seconds if he just like keep this micro. The Russia is doing more and more. Oh, a lot of muskets. Oh, 600 wood and dropping down a crow. So I would assume like he will probably expecting losing the war hut and will use the Travar to build another.
That's a good point. I feel that at this point maybe you could go build a second war hut and then drop down the corral with that age up one. So you're always guaranteed a war hut, and I feel the war hut is the most important building. Unfortunately, dropping that wood forward, bit risky there. Should have enough resources though to get elite Tomahawks once he gets to that next age and defends this Musketeer push from Empire Boss.
Yeah, actually, there should be enough mass to like push away those muskets. Like even like when the hero hits the fortress, the war chief just will have this powerful like eagle eye ability, will like instantly kill like 3 or 4 muskets, I assume.
He comes in, he's in the third age, and he picks up 3 units with one shot. Wow, look at that. That's so strong.
Yeah. This is enough mass for Hero to like trade, take a good trade. They're muskets, right?
Yeah, he's even getting elite Tomahawks behind this. Second war hut being thrown down by that Travar. He does have the crow on the back. Units in queue though, only villagers for the time being from Hatamoto Samurai, but he did have to invest into the Tomahawks just to get the elite Tomahawk button. Elite Tomahawk research being completed. He has sent a shipment. His shipment should arrive very, very soon. Empire Boss is committed into this. 8 Forest Prowlers being shipped here could be very strong.
Yeah, it's quite scary. Like with another 5. Oh, 6 Kenya. Oh, that's kind of interesting.
No Cav upgrade here from the Canyas. He does have that corral to get the upgrade in possibly before the 6 Canyas on the field. I probably would have preferred Musket Riders here just to kind of cover in that cavalry play, but Tomahawks really strong versus Cossacks in hand combat, and not enough Shredders here from Empire Boss to take down his Tomahawk mass. Could have actually just gone for 8 Tomahawks instead.
Not the threat, so it's also, but still overall it's a fun trade for Hero. Probably could win much better if he has like 8 force power.
Well, the trade actually went all right for both players. Russia has a better eco at this point, and the Iroquois player is starting to run out of map. He does have enough hunts in base, but the problem for the Russian player is though that Hatamoto Samurai can send his third age shipments. He still has his trading post, and the fact that his units are just much better than what Russia will ever get out.
So I would a little bit not sure about the Kenya play, or at least trying to get the elite upgrades maybe, or he's like just making muscats in the third age.
Well, the Canyas here, they play a very important role. These elite Tomahawks are the damage dealers, but you need the Kanya to really snare any army so you can kind of close in and engage with the Tomahawks behind this. So that's probably why the 5 Kanyas were followed up behind this. The 6 Kanyas early on was just trying to protect himself from a large shredded mass. Maybe Hatamoto Samurai was unsure of the full composition of what Empire Boss had it, but now that the 6 and 5 Kanya has been sent, I think Hatamoto Samurai Well, no, he has 8 forest powers, 6 forest powers. He does not have the Age 3 Tomahawk shipment.
Yeah, he could have like the nine tomahawk instead of the 6 force power. Or maybe he has the cure on the way. It could be really dicey to those like Ruskits and Strelets, even Cossacks.
Empire Boss now sending 700 food. He's run out
Mm-hmm.
of other shipments he really wants to send. Could have gone for 4 Cossacks there, but
Yep.
going for the food. Age Up is nowhere near Empire Boss, and Empire Boss is trapped in the second age, making Strelets Cossacks. Hatamoto Samurai sends in the all resource crates here. Does have elite Kanyas, looking to get for a big batch of Kanya horsemen from the stable, as well as a batch of
Yeah.
Forest Prowlers.
Probably it could. It's pretty nice composition for like Hacha, especially he could send in like infantry combat later and just have really solid like unit composition, 3 unit composition. Mm, the military wise, yeah, Russia do have more units as expected, and the Boya is in, so the strength is kind of fine for Russia. Let's see what will happen.
Yeah, I like that he's kind of went more Strelets and more Cossacks than Musketeers. Musketeers,
Yeah,
they're,
sure.
they're not upgraded and they're fairly weak.
Mm-hmm.
Probably wouldn't expect the full cav switch here from what Hatamoto Samurai has done behind this, but should have enough Cossacks here to trade, very well versus the Kanya Horsemen with Strelets to engage with the Tomahawk line behind this. And we're talking about that map control, and soon Hatamoto Samurai will have to push out surely for his food. And when that time comes, Empire Boss will be waiting.
Yeah, let's see if Hachar can have a timing to push out. Like have a good trade with like another unit shipment. Both 8 horsepower or the 5 cuirassy could be very good. He
Well,
do have a shipment right now,
yeah.
and let's see.
Well, he has a lot of coin in deck, Hatamoto Samurai. I think he's waiting to get some population space so he can go for the Cuirassiers, but he's going to engage
Yeah,
this army
exactly.
before those 5 Cures pop, and that's a mercenary shipment, so it will take a while for them to actually send. Now, taking this engagement here, the Kanya Horsemen and Elite Tomahawks. Tomahawks in close, though, will shred these Cossacks.
Yeah. Those Cossacks just fall so quick. Like the Elite Tomahawk with the melee pretty strong. And yeah, he can send the Cuirassier right now. Could be very, very good reinforcement.
I don't think he needs it, to be honest. Like that was some good
Yeah.
control there from Hatamoto Samurai, getting those Tomahawks onto the Cossacks, taking down the strong units from Russia player, and now it's exposed that soft underbelly of the Strelet mass, and the Kanya Horsemen went to town on that massive units there from Russia, and that was a really good engagement and position from Hatamoto Samurai.
Yeah, pretty solid fight. It's like the melee Tomahawk just tears through those Cossack. Yeah, Russia do like massing Cossack in the late colonial with the 2 upgrade card, but like there are no match near those like elite Tomahawk. 51 damage, just insane.
You know what? Maybe Empire Boss actually needed Musketeers instead of the Strelets, so maybe it could have gone for the 3 competition, and I was wrong to suggest to not include the Musketeers, because those muskets just would have been enough to kind of body block and just kind of be in between the Cossacks, so the Tomahawks would have engaged with both the units instead of just purely engaging the Cossacks. And once those Cossacks fell down, that entire army of Empire Boss just kind of fell apart, and then it's just Strelets trying to take on Kanya Horsemen and Tomahawks, and that was only going to end one way. And the quick resignation afterwards, Hatamoto Samurai 3-0 up.
Yeah, it's a pretty impressive lead by Hacha. And I believe, yeah, you're suggesting the right thing. Like, you need probably more muskets to trying to block those elite Kenya. They are pretty decent, like versus the Cossacks. And when those melee tomahawk come in, you can try to like pull the Cossack back and zone off those with the enough muskets.
If you go to the military unit population graph, you can see that push in after Archer gets to the 3rd age with the Aero Civ and sends 6 Kanya Horsemen as his first card. Empire Boss pushes in, but Elite Tomahawks has already researched there for the Aero player. The crack shot had already come off beforehand onto the Russian army as well. But once that engagement happened underneath 2 Warhuts, town centre, reinforcing a batch of 6 Kanyas, there was just there was enough military units there, but just so good positioning from Hatamoto Samurai. And once again, those Cossacks being cut down by the tomahawks, they just went straight in for the engagement instead of kind of out at the front trying to tank and let the Strets behind engage. And once those Kanya horsemen spawned behind the army, those Cossacks just weren't there to protect the infantry, and it was a very prompt cleanup, and it was tough for Empire Boss to come back. I thought he had a chance there, but the strength of the Eero Third Age just overwhelmed him then.
Like the Eero Third Age, both elite units, like the native Civ do have a better upgrades for their units. Like elite is 25% instead of the 20 for veteran and the discipline. So definitely stronger units and even a close military populations. So definitely a favor Eero and pretty nice like melee those tomahawk.
Yeah, you're right in terms of the upgrades. In terms of the elite upgrades given 25%. It kind of makes the infantry combat look a little bit worse than it actually is, as well as cavalry HP and cavalry attack. I think Hatamoto Samurai though could have thrown down a fire pit in base next to his silver mine, and you don't need to mine too much coin once that big engagement's happening. And even 5 to 10 villagers dancing the war dance would have really helped Eero army out to cut down even more. But I guess he was ahead and just pressed his advantage when he got that window of opportunity as the Russian player was out of position and just ended the game there and then.
Yeah. If he has the 5 Crusade, which he could get out like in that fight, he would just like crushing those like fights so hard.
Cool. Right, Civ reset, and looks like that Hatamoto Samurai here is going for the Japan civilization. A Civ I know he's very familiar with, well drilled, and it's going to be tough for Empire Boss to take out this Civ pick from Hatamoto Samurai.
Yeah. Maybe he could try trying to repeat the last game from the Optimus Prime versus the versus King of Osman. Like the port play on this map, it's pretty nice actually.
Was that when he was trying to push in with like Lakotas, Elmeti, heavy cannons, organs, Cassadors, and just the game went out of sync?
Yeah, that's pretty unfortunate. If he can play that game, I even want to like make that one into a scannery. Like you can try to defend with Japanese and like trying throwing down walls and maybe making more flame arrows, if that's possible.
Well, only a Japan player would say that. Any other Civ player we're looking at going, you know what? I'm just gonna hit the resign button here. I don't want to.
Yeah, that's pretty much
watch my
over,
units
but,
die.
like,
yeah.
if you can like trying to outplay and like trying to defend with those like villagers and more town center.
No, the game was over at that point. Like,
Yeah. Like, I would say
don't
90% it's over.
Don't think at that highest level between 2 players, that army could not have rolled over the Japan player at that point. It was just too many mercenaries. we even had the guard dog soldiers in, 7 of them, because it was quite late in the game, and it was only.
I really like that like royal upgrade for the muskets. I've never seen that before in a like regular 1v1.
Which upgrade's that?
The same one, the same stats as the red coats. I
forgot the name. I thought you meant like a musket upgrade from like a home city shipment or the Arsenal, but yes, the Guerrero musketeers and the Portuguese.
Yeah, Guerrero.
Very.
That's pretty. Like, have you ever seen that in a like high level 1v1?
Not often. It's mainly because I think the reason why it's not often used is the fact that it's a Royal Guard upgrade. It costs 1,000 wood, 1,000 coin, and usually you don't want to go mass musketeers in the competition. They're nice to kind of mix in to protect a Cassador mass, but Portuguese are very comfortable with Skirm Goon, and they can't really afford to upgrade both the Jeanette Dragoons and the Guerrero Musketeers, and they both kind of perform very similar roles. So that's probably the reason why you don't see too many Guard Musketeer players in the Portuguese. But we don't even know if Empire Boss is going to be playing Portugal in this game.
Yeah, port is kind of hard to like master. You need to like multitasking. Probably maybe you could if you could like play treaty I believe the Conquer do play pretty well with ports in like regular supremacy 1v1. So yeah, that may be an experience win. But let's see. Oh, okay. Like looks like Harcher is back. The Empire boss is still like thinking, maybe even discussing with his. Oh, he's ready.
Yeah, I was about to say, actually, I'm thinking Russia would be a good pick here. We have
Yeah,
seen other
exactly.
similar matchups, Russia versus Japan, and the last time we saw this matchup was when Kaiser Klein was defeated by Iron Turk.
Yeah.
So, it's Japan has its ways to win the matchup, but I also think this is Russia favoured. And we're playing on Iowa. It's easier to get the middle TP control. There's not too many
Mhm.
nearby hunts for the Japan player to shrine, and it's quite hard to wall in. So I think Russia does quite well here.
Yeah. Yeah, let's see if it's another like similar play with like a lot of shrines and getting the clonal militia and even trying to deny the explorer building the trading post. Like just TC fire it and like it's hard for Russia to get it back. Or even like get a free like 1,000 100 coin. Why not? Yeah, let's see.
Yeah, right. We're into the fourth game between Hatamoto Samurai and Empire Boss. The score is currently 3-0. Hatamoto Samurai there, just edging over Empire Boss, and that's Iro versus Russia match on Adirondacks. We do have a brief pause from Empire Boss, maybe forgetting to go to the toilets or something. We'll
Yeah,
have
probably.
we'll have to
Maybe phone
see.
call or something.
Uh, did we record the game?
Yeah, we did.
Okay, looks like it was just a brief pause there from Empire Boss, so we should be getting underway straight away afterwards.
Yeah.
We have Empire Boss playing as the Russians down to the south side of the map, and this was a counter pick to Hatamoto Samurai's Japan pick, and he'll be spawning to the north side of the map in his favourite colour, blue.
Yep, and also for Empire Boss, he's playing Russia, and this is a wood start. He could definitely not want seeing this starting crit. And yeah, Japan just instantly throwing down the consulate.
I've noticed this from Hatamoto Samurai. He's one of the only players at the moment in the current meta to still go for the
Can
Japanese consulate build. Most players now throwing down early shrines, going 2-vil, going 300 wood. But even on a map like Iowa, where the hunts aren't great, I'm still expecting Hatamoto Samurai here to go Heavenly Kami first. He could switch
yeah.
it up and go for 300 wood, but his playstyles in previous games suggest he's still with the old build.
Yeah, I believe this map is fine with Kami. Like the hunt is separate in the every across the map, so you could throw down tons of shrines. Also, like you can even shrine the. This should be third. Yeah. Excepting the third hunt, you can shrine the second hunt for your opponent. Yep. Hunt is fear. So like the second hunt or the third hunt is quite far from the town center, so you could able to like shrine those, which is annoying to Russia if he gonna rush you.
Yeah, it's hard to herd in these two hunts, which both players spawns near their two native TPs, but it's equal for both players. But that
Yeah,
does favour Japan because Japan
yeah,
they
of
don't
course.
have to herd. Well, hang on a minute.
Yeah.
Hold up. No, it's just a two.
They're,
I was just
they're
checking.
even starting to walk away actually.
No, I was just checking, thinking, oh my god, Japan player has an extra hunt, but no, it's just a starting hunt, walking away from the
Yeah.
base because they don't want those shrines on them. They want to go into the open. Empire Boss having
It's
all these.
actually Russia like preemptively hurting his did that hunt, and for Japan you definitely cannot hurt it. So yeah, so it's pretty even.
Right, so we do see Empire Boss though having all these bisons killed onto his town centre, and from the
Yeah.
days of playing Great Plains, everyone knows that you only need to basically kill the starting 4 bisons to get enough food to get to the third age, and we do see one of the bisons behind here also taken down for herding reasons. So
Yep.
hoping that no more bisons here being killed from Empire Boss until after he ages up, and just try and preserve the life of and the amount of
Yeah.
food available in his hunt, because it's quite limited around his base.
I was expecting you to mention like the background on the grid plane, so that's the reason why you're killing those bison under your town center. Like it's really annoying. Like they just background and you cannot hurt in like correctly. So it's pretty sad. Yeah, let's see. It's much better on EP, I would say. And chopping wood, it's pretty standard. And Kami for Harcher.
Yeah, so
Whoa.
he has gone for this slightly more, I guess, economic playstyle. He's still only at 20 shrine pop though. Toshogo, no, is it? It is Toshogo. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for Veil on Wonder, it's pretty not standard for Japan.
Well, yeah, it's a bit fast. Behind us, he does have his 6 villas on the cherry orchards, so he still has that villager production. But it's not like he's got an early trading post down to make use of these shipments. I think Hatamoto Samurai just thinking, right, I've got a shipment ready to go. I want to get to the next age. So I can send 600 wood straight away to get these shrines going down. And he's staying with the Portuguese consulate for the time being. It looks like.
That's true. You can like, yeah, it looks like Harcher, what's he doing? He's trying to shrine those hunts, and at least he will have a line of sight, and he can doing a she rate to those like additional hunt. He can even like shrine for like all of them, but Russia can like send in musket to siege those. So probably trying to split your shrine all across the map, like harder to siege.
Yeah, he's got one shrine on Empire's third hunt or second hunt, and on Empire's third hunt to the right. So Empire's only really got the kind of in-base hunts to gather from, and his extra hunts have been shrined up, which is a very, very good and correct play here from Hatamoto Samurai. And Zuzuta always once said, you want your explorers on the opposite side of the maps, one on to the right, one on to the left towards your opponent's side of the map, and then slowly start to shrine towards your own base. So shrines near your base are the shrines you're last putting down. But it looks like Hatamoto Samurai, though, poofing back one of his explorers and shrining nearby hunts. And, for example, how does the Russian player unshrine and take down shrines on these wide hunts here? It's very tough.
That's very painful for Russia. Unless he going for the Inca, like they're pretty fast and pretty high siege, but apparently he's not doing so. And Japan do have a nice war across, around his base, so the Cossack will be very hard pushing. And Japan has Ashi in queue, could even get throwing down a stable.
Yeah, look at this Empire Boss sending 5 Cossacks, but there's no other units nearby. It's just the Tomahawk and Explorer. Strelets are on the way, but the blockhouse is so far away from the action. It takes ages for these Strelets to cross the map, and it feels like this is that golden time to be underneath the town centre of the Japan player and idling. But this wall mixed with Empire Boss's very far away blockhouse as well, it's just really delaying this push in, and these every second matters at this point, and it's given the Japan player an extra 20 to 30 seconds to gather resources, train units. He's got one Nagi in queue, but maybe sending the to Colonial Militia card here would be a good shout, I think.
I believe this pressure is even not worse for the Colonial Militia. Like there's barely no a lot of push, and Russia is probably sending 700 wood.
Oh wow, 600 coin here from Hatamoto Samurai, and usually we'll be sat here thinking, oh wow, is he going to go for an A-Jep here? But nope, he has a stable down. He has one Nagi in queue, and does get a 3 Nagi pop out with the help of this coin being gathered up from the huge chests of coin.
Yeah, he can pop like maybe a full batch in the next time. That will be pretty nice against those pure relics, cause like Russia probably do not have a stable, or at least just have it in the base. Yeah, probably just put stable in near the blockhouse. Like it's so far from your base to opponent's base on this map.
Well, if my maths is correct, these Naginatas do 42 hand damage versus Strelets per swing. In Strelets with only 72 HP, these
To
Nagis
hit?
two-shot kill these Strelets, and there's only 5 Cossacks here. I feel this
Yeah,
Town
it's
Sensor could be
baiting.
focusing down the Cossacks at this point, and it could be a really good engagement here from Hatamo Samurai, and he should be
Yeah.
trying to position his army around to try and cut off Empire's boss's escape.
Even you could send in the sentries trying to do more damage to those Cossacks, and those Nagi will definitely do a ton of damage to those Strelets. 2-hit KO, I believe.
Yeah, just
One,
send
two.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's so easy for those Nagi. It's a clean up for Japan.
yeah, and behind us, I don't really know what Russia wants to do. It's not like he's starting to get one train post now, but I feel that if he wanted to go for the trading route, he could have secured it much earlier and could have maybe even gone 700 wood first to get that early
Yeah,
routes
exactly.
under control, and then you have a stronger mass to follow up. But that Nagi play from Hatmo Samurai has just cleaned up everything Empire Boss wants to do. Even Musketeers will struggle versus these Naginatas, and I kind of feel that it's like
Already over.
yeah, it's really tough for Empire Boss to come back in, and Empire Boss really needs to try and get a score on the board here. Like, this is his EPL2 debut, and we don't want to see it end 5-0 defeat. This is only game 4, remember?
Yeah, and a huge raid for coming. Those Nagi will definitely no great code for Russia. Will probably cost. Oh, okay.
Get that no great coat hype in the chat going. That was a good raid there from Hatsumoto Samurai, and yeah, the map spawn wasn't great, but it was balanced and equal for both players, and that's just a variation of playing with maps like Iowa and Adir on Daxes.
Yeah.
It's you can't expect really good hunt spawns every time and go, I'm going to play a Civ which benefits from these really good hunt spawns. And I think this is a really smart Civ pick from Harch from this map.
Russia, yeah. Probably Russia if doing like more all-in rush, maybe just put blockhouse near like maybe here, near the native post or even more forward and trying to do enough damage. Like this play is kind of soft and like not decisive. Like and just losing to those Nagi is pretty huge.
Yeah, I forgot to check, but I didn't really check when Empire Boss dropped down that market and got his hunting dogs and steel traps research in, and maybe Empire Boss playing Russia like he did in the last game is just a slow standard age up, but you're slow to get units out. And like, for example, the Cossacks were out before the Strelets, and if you secure up a batch of Strelets straight away in the second age and then send the Cossacks, you should have enough time realistically to pop these units at the same time. And if that blockhouse was on this kind of Hatsumoto Samurai's first hunt in between these two tree patches in the kind of the middle north of the map, you could have been putting that pressure earlier, could have sieged through the wall possibly, or maybe push onto the market left side, but could have been in the base about 40 seconds earlier, and could have even just denied that coin gathering from the villagers once that coin crate shipment was sent, and you just basically, the Russian player just gave Japan all the time in the world to do what he wanted to do and execute his own build order. And that Nagi play looked so strong from Hatamoto, but I feel with better play could have been shut down very quickly.
Yeah, and one thing to be mentioned is like Japan aged pretty much earlier than Russia, so it's pretty scary for Russia to push in. Maybe you will die to like a double military miniman and also a shipment pop with this like nice wall. It's pretty tough for Russia to push in.
I don't even remember Hatamoto Samurai even calling his Minutemen at that point. Really,
Yeah,
like
he didn't.
there was more tools at the Japan players' disposal to defend from what Empire Boss was doing. But a quick game there, and very decisively in favor of the Japanese player.
Yeah, like Japan is pretty solid on this map. Like the hunt is separate and far. Like you can shrine opponents like so. Yeah. So pretty nice like pick for Hachar and okay. Yeah, Empire was picking Brits. It's a fair pick on this map, but like you don't have enough hunt in your base, so unless you're planning to go water maybe or maybe aggression. So That's maybe a good idea for like Brits here.
Yeah, it's tough. I see why Brit is a good pick here. There are a number of hunts nearby. You can realistically gather from
Oh,
3 nearby hunts. You do have the sea, you do have that back islands. The British player has options, but going for a British pick as first pick leaves you open for plays like this from Hatamoto Samurai,
okay.
going Ottoman. Ottoman, a very
Yeah,
strong civ, can get that middle map control with opening up with a barracks and Abus. Barracks and artillery foundry, maybe double barracks, could go for the TP line, or could even
yeah.
just fast age to the third age behind and push out with Jan Falconets.
Yeah, Auto do have a lot of option on this map, and they can even go water. Like Auto is quite strong. Maybe Auto and Brits are probably and even and Ports are three of the strongest civ on water. And so yeah, let's see. Probably I would say just like Gen Abbas and take the trading post, or just a straight fast fortress. Both could do fine versus Brits.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think one of the reasons why we are a bit puzzled here of what the game plan is and what's going to happen is because we don't see this matchup too often. And I think one of the reasons why you don't see this matchup too often is it feels like this is solidly in Ottoman's favour, and British
Yeah.
players choose to not play this matchup. And so I'm expecting a very tough game here from Empire Boss, and uh, maybe Empire
Yeah,
Boss
let's
was
see.
like hoping for an Aztec pick or something else, maybe like Dutch or maybe something more kind of a standard European. But seeing Ottoman come out, which is a very non-standard European, is going to be very, very
Not
tough.
too nice to see for Brit player. Like even Aztec will do pretty fine. I mean, if Hacha pick it, like trying to put the two hearts near your third hunt and try to starve Brit player, pretty tough for Brit.
Yeah, I think even Aztec on this map would have the advantage versus Britain. And the reason why, as well, I mean, the water play is an interesting dynamic. Both Aztec and also have the opportunities, but the British player, they're
Hmm.
confined in their base. They have no back area to run to. Their base is on the cliff, and they have to push
Yeah,
up. They have to push forwards, and there's no way to kind of really run behind. So it feels like just sitting out front of the player's base with Jan and Falconet's gonna be strong enough to win this game. But we'll have to see though, because Empire
yeah,
Boss, good eco, could go H2, could go Musk Huss and try and play around that Jan Abus. We'll have to see.
sure. Yeah, let's see. So this is the final game between for all playoff 5 series between Empire Boss and Hatamoto Samurai, also aka the Hacha. Oh, do we?
I can't remember.
We are waiting for it to record it, right? So uh okay, yeah, that's pretty nice to confirm it. Yeah, and I can check the hunt real quick. Yeah, this map always have a pretty nice spawn, and the island is fine. So yeah, so pretty map is fine.
Empire Boss dropping down a trading post straight away in the middle of the map, going
Hmm.
for the trading post, which is probably much easier to defend as well. Also, just checking that the 3 cows, berries, and mines spawn on both islands. One game we had, there was no cows and berries, or even a mine on the island. It was a very, very weird spawn,
Yeah.
but was played on regardless.
Well, maybe player is not planning to go to the island, so it doesn't really matter.
No. Hatamoto Samurai, though, pushing out for.
Hmm.
Excuse me, I've just realised this is the Ottoman Explorer. So Hatamoto Samurai going for a delayed trading post here. It was actually Empire Boss going for the very early trading post as a British player
Yeah.
here. And I completely missed it. I was just expecting, oh yeah, it's Ottomans. They get for the early trading post, the standard. But actually, no.
Yeah, actually it's British player, so like denying this trading post. However, this position is kind of exposed, and like the Gen will easily take down this trading post unless like Empire has the early mass of like longbow or muskets.
Yeah, I'm expecting Empire Boss to age up with the governor and put an outpost and barracks right next to this trading post, because otherwise, that early trading post play, it just feels a little bit awkward. I suppose that outpost trading post can just buy a little bit of time to kind of herd these forward deer hunts in, get into the base, and maybe go for barracks stable at home, get a few walls out, could just go longbow musk and try and defend. But
Yeah,
that's
probably.
caught me by surprise.
Yeah, and Ottoman do get a shipment later than British, so Empire Boss should get the first pass, which is pretty nice for display. But let's see what's his plan in the colonial.
Oh, look at this. This is some
Oh,
great unit
wow.
control here from Hatsumoto Samurai. We have
Yeah, nice
seen
trading.
players trying to micro down treasures like this, specifically the meaty treasures like the bears, the wolves, the coyotes,
Cool.
and cougars. But these are ranged units, and Hatsumoto Samurai has got that perfect positioning, so this is a really
Yeah.
good sight to enjoy. Meanwhile, though, Empire Boss showing his EPL2 debut rust. His canoe is still idle, not fishing or scouting.
Oh, yeah, that's a little bit sad. He could maybe get like 10 food for his fishing or maybe more scouting, taking this treasure. 50 wood, pretty nice. And, oh, not this one. This one is like the rifleman can definitely reach. Wait, they cannot reach the canoe actually.
Um, Hatsumoto Samurai has pulled his Explorer back, and I think he just wants to bring the Explorer to crackshot
Crack
it.
shot?
And
Yeah.
130 wood, just get that treasure in, pick the treasure up. That's more wood for the Ottoman player to use, and
Yeah,
then they can go
exactly.
straight into building a train post and transition. Actually, using that early wood to go for the millet system, I
Musk?
think. He's already spent a bit of that wood.
Well, he didn't pick until now, so yeah, he could definitely research that
Oh yeah,
check for the villager.
yeah, of course. No, I just saw 80 wood thinking he already spent 50 of it, but actually picked the cows up first and then went for the treasure, and now has
Yep.
lots of wood available. Slightly defensive barracks here, but going for that second trading post.
Yeah, and wait, this is pretty much defensive. Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised. Maybe he planning to do a fast fortress. Let's see. Like, cause Ottoman will always have a lot of food in bank before he. Yeah, he did have the wait double racks.
We have a double Rex play here from
Yeah, I was
Hatsumoto
expecting a
Samurai,
foundry.
but he's gone for 700 wood first, so this is not an all-in double Rex Jan rush. Your first card would probably either be the 700 coin or 700 food, and judging by
Yeah,
Hatsumoto Samurai's macro, 700 coin would have made sense here to just get that coin production going, and then you just fund the remaining Janissaries off your good food counts, the cows, and then subsequent food shipments. But wanting to get a couple Jans out, knock down its middle trading post, have enough wood behind to go for stagecoach upgrade, and just
yeah,
have
sure.
enough wood for your mosque upgrades, maybe a market and a few houses behind, and play a bit of an economic style here from the Osman Civ.
He could even put down another foundry, like though it's not likely. And British is pretty standard, and 700 would start. And let's see, unit in queue. It's 2 muskets. So I'm not sure. British is not does not scout the double racks, I believe.
Well, he will now when he sees 10 Janissaries on his trading post. He might think this is 5 Jans and a 5
Shipment.
Janissary shipment, but which Ottoman player in their right mind would send 5 Janissaries as their first card?
Well, it's fair to taking down the trading post. I mean, and not killing yeah, maybe focusing down the trading post first.
No, but yeah, what I was saying is you wouldn't send 5 Janissaries as your first card to take down a trading post when the Ottoman player could send 700 coin, get the FF in,
Yeah,
could
yeah,
send
you're right.
700 wood, double Janrax production. You know that was the kind of the angle I was going with that one there.
Yeah, but there's a lot of gens actually, and he is using a Vilt trying to put down the trading post, which would cost a lot of time. Did pick up a Vil, and could pick some muskets. Okay, he's backing right now. British, I believe he need a few Lumbo. Oh, 700 coin. Is he planning to? Maybe he's expecting the Abbas and trying to go some Hus, but apparently there's like no stable and no Abbas as well. So
Well, see, remember, Empire Boss is the British, so you're not going to have Abyss guns from the British player, but he has a lot of villagers mining coin as well as 700 coin being sent. So I don't know what his plan to do with all this coin behind is. Well, he maybe wants to try and get an age up, but he needs more villagers on food to get resources, and there's more Janissaries incoming. You could get a batch of 5 muskets and Minutemen to try and defend this. There's no musketeers in queue, but Empire Boss still has... yeah, okay, he has all the coin he needs to age up now. 5 muskets have just been instantly thrown down in the queue pile for Empire Boss, but now he just has no food. Town Centre and Outpost doing good damage behind us. Minutemen being called. He needs to protect his barracks because that's the only production facility he has.
We'll probably go down before the 5 musks if Auto keeps sieging. Yep. And those Minutemen will not... actually, it's not enough to push those gen back, but it's fine to keeping back. Auto do have the stagecoach, not yet, but to have the trading post line, so could get stage real soon. Maybe it's already in queue.
You can't see it on this UI because it's a Mother Nature tech. I'm surprised Harcher hasn't got the stagecoach earlier on, but he has now. I believe he's just spent 200 wood, 200 coin. He had some wood available, but I'm struggling to see what he's spending it on instead. Actually, no, he's gone for second tier. Mosque upgrade as well as place the mines behind this, but he's still spending more resources onto his Janissaries. He hasn't really got much resources stocked up behind this, and 5 Janissary shipment now pushing out. Hatamoto Samurai has got a very, very scary mass of Janissaries. Thing to note is it is just Janissaries. It's not Jan Abus or Jan Hussar. Empire Boss is aging up here, and an early Falconet shipments could work really well here for Empire Boss.
I would like I mean, Harchar pushing into the base right now because he's checking the hunt for British right now, so we'll probably push into the base very soon after this. And yeah, Brit still is only halfway to age, so it's pretty scary actually. And he just have the stable and pumping out more musketeer. So will probably be a Musk Falconate composition.
Need to remember here that Hatamoto doesn't actually know if he's aging or not, but if the age up does come in, it will say he's at the Fortress age. Hatamoto will be then very happy to stay here and just make the most of this, and he's got so much more of a military advantage here. I think he's now realised that there's not much military out for Empire Boss, not many reinforcements, and he's... I don't understand the backing off play here, but once he will see the age up coming in, I think he's going to U-turn and go straight back into the base and try and pick off as many units as what he can.
Yeah, exactly. There's not enough British units, and even the Falconate will not be enough. But the age up Lumbo would be pretty nice to help him defending those Janissaries. The forward Veil even coming out. Maybe group the Veil with the Janissary. Yeah, he's back in right now. So the Falconate, there's no spawning point for Falconate if he just like sitting down the trading under the town center, and he has the stagecoach in, and he can mass tons of Janissaries and even sending 3 Hus.
Yeah, and even his longbows muskets, they don't have a place to ride. The canoe coming in, he's not going to garrison his army into the canoe because that's going to get shot down in a single volley. The canoe's running away.
Get away on time, but the Falconate has no cover. Just get into the melee, and we'll definitely just clean those Falconate. Oh, the Veil, yeah, that's pretty nice. Trying, yeah, let's see if it works. Melee Janissaries on Falk, 1 Falk down, and the second is also down. Yeah, 3 Hus coming and trying to deny those. He can even dropping down stable as he's doing.
Yeah, I think Empire Boss realizes he's in a tough position at the moment, and he's now out of hunts in his base. He's only got the berries, and he hasn't got the military mass to push out to go for the hunt, and that's why this age up play from Empire Boss just seems So strange. It really honestly seems strange in the face of double racks, Jan's,
Oh,
Stagecoach.
the veil is being cut.
What's he doing out in the middle of the map gathering hunt here?
What?
What's he?
No, he's probably if he like hunting at this place, I would pretty much like it. But hunting in the middle, it's just like missed click. Or
yeah, like you had the salamanders on the right side. Yeah, he could have herded in the deers, and actually, it's Hatamoto Samurai actually herded in this deer batch away. He's just that step ahead of his opponent. He has the map knowledge. He has the game awareness to realize that the Brit player now is stuck on berries. You know, he's had his entire army in the base. He's scouting out that there's no dock play here from Empire Boss, and Empire Boss doesn't have schooners or a fishing upgrade. So
yeah, it's pretty much a land deck for both player actually.
Yeah, a bit concerning that Hatamoto Samurai doesn't even have a galley shipment in his deck. That's a bit of a not a great deck choice.
Yeah.
Even a frigate on his side could have put so much pressure on the villagers and forced them away from the edge and kind of forced them into, well, a small box around the town centre because they can't push forwards due to the Janissaries and they can't push back due to the coin mines. But Hatamoto Samurai is still in the second age for the time being.
Yeah, Animal coming out as expected. And there's a Hussar in queue for Ottoman, and already 5 in the place. So probably wait for more Hussar would be a good idea. Like British cannot really get enough resources, and also like you have the 3 stagecoach TP, so you have pretty nice eco. You can do whatever you want, just denying the hunt.
Thing to notice about Empire Boss at the moment is that he hasn't even got any upgrades yet on his longbows or musketeers, so no veterancy, and he still only has 1 barracks in base, just making units. He's now just thrown his first dock at 13.5 minutes, which I understand you're out of hunts, you need to do something, but the fact that you've thrown a dock this late into the game means, well, you're seriously out of hunts, and it will take a while for it to pay off, which means he's even weaker now to kind of defend from this Hussar switch coming in from Hatamoto Samurai, and the fact that Empire's teching into longbows, it's just going to be really, really tough here for Empire to hold this push in.
And he's even have Abbas in queue for Hatra, and some wars thrown down by Empire Boss, but like Janissaries will just tear through those like EP wall, you know, like the half HP. And another Huss raid, and just forcing those field back. On this map, you don't even have enough trees like near your base, or not a good amount of trees.
Well, he has enough. He's just chopped through all of it because he can't. Because he hasn't no other resources to chop through. He doesn't have hunts to gather. He has a few berries, but these Abus guns at the moment unanswered for. The longbows from the British player are running, and you know running longbows aren't great, and they can only run so far. They can only run to the coast, and they have to fight. Hussars getting the big raid in the villagers. Villagers going to run into the fishing boats here. Could try and siege the fishing boat, but big HP here. Yeah, Hussars is going to come back in, just going to slam on some of these colonial musketeers as well. Only veteran musks only coming in now, but these Abus guns upgraded with the Abus HP, and Janissary is pushing onto the longbows. Longbows low HP, just going to get rolled over here, and the GG comes out, and it's 5-0 for Hatamoto Samurai, and the Nila Ninjas very happy with that result.